Hello and welcome back to Tammy's Antique Vintage Dolls and More, and today we're going to talk about those beautiful 1950 dolls called Kathy and Little Ricky from the I Love Lucy show, because he is a part of this just as well. So let's zoom down from these beautiful hearts, because we know that the love month is coming up because we love our dolls. And here we go. There, come way down. There we go. Look at those two little beauties. This is a Madame Alexander doll, Kathy. She's 20 inches. And this is the Little Ricky doll. Now I put them side by side because they really have a look. Almost like they look alike to me. They really, they're not the same doll. They really aren't. But let's take a look at Kathy here. Let's take her hat off of her. And let's take a look at her. She's from Madame Alexander Company. She was made in the 1950s. And she has beautiful molded hair. Now you can see, oh, let's go look at this. She has beautiful molded hair. Let's put this camera right square down on her like this. There's her beautiful face. You can see now she's been played with, but that's what these big heavy dolls were. They were played with. Some little girl just loved the dickens out of this doll here. But you know how quick it looks like? It can look like a boy. You could dress this doll like a boy just as much as like a girl. But because it is a girl doll made by Madame Alexander, I've kept her in a nice little girl outfit. It was hard because I really wanted to dress her like a boy because she just looked to me like a little boy doll. But she isn't. She's a little girl doll. And right beside her is Little Ricky. Let's take a look at him, how close they look alike to each other, back and forth. Boom. She's got a little bit different of a face. You can see it, you know, that there's some differences. But there are also a lot of likeness between them because they come out of the same time period. He's made by the American Character Company, and she's made by Madame Alexander Company. They're both about 20 inches. He might be a little bit bigger, maybe 21 inches, but not by a whole lot there. But they look gorgeous together. They're best friends. Yes, they are. And they got their little rabbit friend in between them there. But aren't they sweet little dolls together? Now you can see they both have discolored. And I've read, when the last time I'd made my I Love Lucy Little Ricky video, I listened to a lot of the suggestions that women were given on there about how to take the discoloration out. And I might be trying some of that down the road there. But anyhow, they're both discolored. They're both darkened over time here. You can see that even on her. She holds a nice tan. You know, you can see it on her arms. You can see it on her legs there. But you know what? She's looking pretty good all the same for a doll that's from out of the 50s there. You know, so she's in her 60s. I think she's holding herself pretty good here. Same with Little Ricky, you know. But anyhow, let's move to some now of the next dolls that came from, now these are from the 50s. Let's look at some of the dolls that came from out of the 60s now. We'll put now these are heavy dolls. My husband went to pick up one of them. He goes, oh my goodness, how did a child pick those dolls up? And I said, that's just it. They're heavy. So when you're thinking of purchasing these dolls, remember you're going to pay on shipping with these dolls because they're not light dolls by no means. But anyways, here's some little dolls. No, not little, but some big dolls here that I've dressed up. Let me get her. Let me put the camera down for a minute. I wish I had a pause on my camera, but I don't. And my next camera will. I'll be making sure that there's a pause on my camera so I can pause and then come back. You know, so I know the dark doesn't help anything. I'm moving yous again. Okay, let's get these two gaffers out here. Now these guys are a little bit bigger. All right. Now you've seen these dolls a lot. They're very typical. You can find them very easily through, you know, in the doll world. They're out there. And some of them were used as simple mannequin dolls because they dressed so well. They wore a lot of the nice baby clothes, and a lot of stores. We had a store here called Peter Pan. Pam, not Pan, not like Peter Pan from Disney. Peter Pam, P-A-M. And anyways, they would use, because the people who owned the store were named Peter and Pam. I think that's what I was told. But anyhow, it doesn't matter. Or maybe their children were named that or something. But anyhow, they were a very fine, high-end store for children's clothing. But anyhow, I've seen some of these dolls in their window being used to display children's baby clothing. So anyways, these are from the 60s here, and one's made by the Putnam Company, which is a Canadian company, and the other one's by a Reliable Company, which is also Canadian company here. But you know, these are found right even in the United States by other companies who use the same molds or close to the same molds. These dolls, the molds travel far and wide, I think, you know, when it comes to them. They're very typical, but they're very nice dolls to have. I won these from... I bought one, they both came from the Salvation Army. One was back in the toy section. The other one I got on an auction. I can't tell you which way it went either. I can't remember which one was which. But, yeah, I picked them up. I say together, they were underneath $15-20 for the two of them together. So, you know, if you keep your eyes out, you can find these dolls. They're still out there. Not so much these other two back behind, the Kathy and the little Ricky doll. Those you have to pretty much purchase, you know, maybe some people have found them in other, like in used stores. I'm not here. I don't. Maybe in the States you would. Now, if you're wondering what the white stuff is on top of Kathy's head, that's just baby powder, because she does get a little sticky. So to keep it down, it has cornstarch in it. So I just give I buy the baby powder with cornstarch in it and just give her a nice little coating of that, a light coating, but it sticks right inside all the grooves of her hair, so that's why it shows up so much easier. You can see it. Ricky has some too in his hair. If you look really close, you can see the baby powder on him too, just as well. It gets right down in all that beautiful molded hair. I love their hair and how molded it is. Just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. But you can see their hair is pretty close to the same, you know. But anyhow, now these dolls also have molded hair, and they can be dressed as either. You can dress them as a boy or as a girl, and that's what I do. I dress one as a boy and one as a girl. But they have beautiful molded hair, not as deep as what the dolls from the 1950s, the ones at the back. They have deeper, more artistic hair. This is very typical, you know, nice little waves in the hair. You know, let's take a look at this guy. I can't remember what his looked like. But anyhow. Oh yeah, same thing. Not much difference in the hair. The same likeness and everything. Yet they're made by two different companies. Can you believe that? You know, two different companies on these dolls, and yet they still have. So you can see that the molds were used very widely, you know. One is brown eyes, which I love because I'm brown eyes. And the other one's blue. There we go. So I love the idea of having a brown and a blue eye doll. That just tickles me, you know, nice, you know, because I like to have some brown eye dolls. I really like to trend towards what I'm like, you know. So I like my dolls to be brown eyes. If I can make a doll brown eyes, I will, because there's a lot of blue eye dolls out there. It's hard to find brown eye dolls from time to time. And when I do, I make sure I snatch them up, you know. So he's got beautiful brown eyes, you know. And I love the blue eyes too, don't get me wrong. Because my dad was a blue eye, you know, I got brothers with blue eyes. My mother was a brown eye, you know, so I got her color of her eyes, you know. But anyhow, yep. So I thought I'd show these to you, you know. Now these dolls are not as heavy, they're a lot lighter. You can pick them up so much more, but they're bigger. These are probably about 24 inches. So you go from awkward heavy, but smaller, and you go to awkward lighter, because they're bigger. So children, I'm looking at children picking them up. How these were played with, you know. But you know, children did it. They played with these dolls. They loved their babies just as well. I remember playing with dolls like this. And I had no problem. I was going to play with that doll. You know, that's what it was about. You know, we were playing with our babies. So, but anyways, it's nice to see the just two decades away from one another. And you know, how far we've come, you know, in dolls. And I wish they made dolls like this today for children to play with. We need to come back to this. I don't know why we're not. I go into the stores, I just see junk. Just junk dolls. And I'm just like, how terrible. Where have we went to? Now, I don't mind the My Life doll. That kind of copies off the American Girl. I think those are very nice. We have one here called the Maple Leah doll, which is off the American Girl doll. I like that. But the other side I flip over is as I go and I look at some of the others, and I'm not going to name them, but some I just cringe over, and I just go, oh my goodness, no. I would never let my daughter play with them. I was very particular at what she played with. I was very picky, and I would try to gear her towards dolls that were, you know, that were going to enhance her, not put ideas in her head. because one day I was going to have a teenager. And I didn't want her to think that was right. There's a right and there's a wrong. And, you know, I heard a lady say this one time to her daughter, dress classy, not trashy, you know. And that's what I want my daughter's thoughts to be on. And I want her to also bring out her motherly skills with babies and whatnot. Now, my daughter was not a big doll girl to begin with. She liked the dolls off a comfy couch. I forget, there was Molly. I think that's one of her favorites she had there. And then there was another one there. She loved those dolls. But she wasn't an overly doll little girl at all, in no way, shape, or form. She liked some Barbies, but not even that. She was very artsy, and that was more her trend. And, you know, she never gravitated to the dolls as much as I did as a little girl. I lived for my dolls. Like, my dolls were everything. So big dolls like this here were just everything to me. You know, I didn't play with I had some play dolls like this, but not these two. But I did have some. But I played with a lot of dolls like this right here. That was more what I played with. And you know, they help you with little girl and their motherly skills and whatnot. But anyhow, I thought I'd show these, you know, and I wish the manufacturers would come back and rethink some of what they're doing when it comes to dolls. And we can come out with a nice, big, beautiful doll like this again. I know they sell. If you put it out there, it would start to sell. We need to bring that out in our daughters today, their motherly skill, and bring it to the parents. I think the parents would gobble it up. I know if I had granddaughters, I'd be buying them right away. You know, I wouldn't even think twice, you know. But some of the other dolls, I don't even think. I just walk right by them. I just wouldn't. If I had a granddaughter, she wouldn't get it from me. You know, there'd be no way. You know, it wouldn't come out from my hands. So I'm very particular of what my children played with. You know, so. But anyhow, there they are, from the 50s and the 60s. You know, beautiful, beautiful. You can't get it any better than these nice, great, big, beautiful dolls. You know, that's what it's all about, you know, is loving our dolls. The month of love is coming up, and we're going to talk about the love of dolls. We got to February 14th, and we're going to talk about it. So everybody, have a great day. There's more to come. Get ready. There's more videos I want to bring out. This might be it for today, but there will be more coming. So have a great day and a great week. Bye-bye.